Good evening, everybody, and welcome to JPR on Friday nights. It's season 7, round 7, and we're in Azerbaijan. And as you can see from your screens, I think everyone's a little worried about getting out there. Rain falling on track. We have a few new entries tonight, a few new drivers. You'll notice that they will either retire right in the beginning of qualifying, or they may go out and do a lap, but all those new participants do get quali bans. As well as the McLaren driver, Pampun, also receiving a quali ban for this race. And there we have an Alpine going straight on. I'm sure we're going to see a lot more of that in this short quali session. Obviously tonight things are being run a little bit different than what we're used to. Instead of having a full qualifying session followed by a 50% race, we're having just the short quali session. It's going to be followed by a 25% race. That will be round 7, and then immediately after that we're going to have round 8 at Zandvoort. No times on screen. Seeing rain on my screen. Not sure if that's a glitch, because everyone's out on slicks. So if you're in the pits and it's not raining, let me know. But it appears quite wet for slicks at the moment, so maybe I'm not seeing the right thing. Still waiting for those first lap times. AD starting a fast lap. One of 2 Ferrari drivers racing tonight. One of those super subs is going to be a driver at Mercedes. That's Khan. We've had a few rounds now with just the one Mercedes. RZDV has not been around, so they'll be hoping for a double points finish. I think they're only 5th or 6th in the constructors. Also see that Ralph is not on the grid. So as a result, we just have the one McLaren. And like I mentioned, that McLaren does have a quali ban. So tonight's a fantastic opportunity for Red Bull to claw their way back into this championship. Getting away from them just a little. McLaren leads the Constructors' Championship by 24 points. But that could all change tonight. We'll see, like I said, 2 races in one night, 2 opportunities to score points, 2 very different race circuits. So let's see who can adapt to both on one night. Ride with AD as he's the first man over the line. He sets a 153.2. And obviously just the one qualifying session, so that is provisional pole. Bantry Star goes second, 153.4. And then a 55.3 for Dan Rietveld. That's your top three, but very big gaps in between them, so I'm sure there's much more to come. All of these drivers, the top four now, as Kev goes into P3, putting the Alfa Romeos as a all Alfa Romeo second row. See, there are one or two cars out on, there's actually one car on wets, and there's one car on inters, but the rest of the field, on the soft tyre. 5 drivers have set lap times, but as you can see by the gaps in those lap times, I don't think those lap times are really representative. As I'm probably going to have to stay out on track and just do a few laps. Here we ride with Shane, one of the 2 Red Bulls. The other Red Bull has retired from the session. Might not be a bad idea to start Baku from the back. It can be quite a treacherous first few laps. The Aston Martin, Staffy also now retiring from the session, Eno as well. Staffy saying it's a bit too wet out there. Is this weather going to carry on into the race, or are we looking at a dry race? Let me know. Just wish F1 would add that so that the spectator could have an idea what the weather was doing. Both Alpines still in the session, looking to improve on their lap times. They want to start further up the grid. At the moment, it's really where I don't like to be. It's right in the middle of the field. Two AlphaTauri drivers, Teacher and J-Boy, both on outlaps. They have not set lap times. Just 5 drivers have set lap times. Okay, so this will be an interesting scenario because it's just the one session and we've had 10 drivers. Well, 10 drivers have not set lap times yet. I think 8 have retired, so it's going to be interesting now with all those no lap times, how the game is going to sort that out and who's going to start ahead of who. Thanks for that dry race confirmed. I think a wet race in Baku might be a little bit too dramatic. There will be no qualifying session for the round 8 race that comes after this. So the finishing results for this race will set your order for Zandvoort. If I'm not mistaken, yes, the one who retires first should start last, but that's the way it should work. Just like when 2 drivers set the exact same lap time, the one who set it first starts ahead. Personally, I've only seen it once. It was the final round of 1997 at Jerez, and it wasn't just 2 drivers that got identical lap times, it was 3, and it was your top 3. All three got a 1:27.027. The guy who set that time third, it was good enough for pole, but he had to start all the way down in third. Thanks for the cricket update, Steph. Appreciate it. Back to the track. Not much to report at the moment. We just got we got Shane on an outlap on a set of slicks. We have Nuclear Monkey. He's currently in 7th. That's a 2:04. Very off the pace, but that was on a set of wets. The only timed lap on a set of wets. Still in the session, that could improve. That is tunable in a Williams, not set a lap time. Would currently start P9. And then we also have Shane, who's out on an outlap, looking to get his first timed lap of the night. What happened? Ooh, and we have a horse. We have a horse into the wall, and not sure which horse that was. I didn't see, but Shane did well to miss that horse. Quite a blind corner, and if he had run a little bit wider, it wouldn't have been a pretty sight. That was Nuclear Monkey, as he is the only horse out on track. We may have one or two drivers joining for the second race that weren't able to join this one. That due to us being sponsored by Eskom. But I know we may see a second horse driver for the round 8. We right now on board with Shane as he tries to manage his way around this circuit. He's completed his outlap and now he's on his fast lap. It goes purple in sector 1. Got to be so careful, don't want to run wide, don't want to invalidate the lap. But it's really difficult. Guys have probably been practicing for 2 or 3 days now, working out a setup. And that setup is probably not very conducive to the wet. See now what Shane can come up with. Obviously now he goes purple in sector 2 as well. He was fastest in sector 1, fastest in sector 2. Love this part of the race circuit, but not so much in the rain. Scared to get on the power, scared to overdo it. But now it's straight all the way. It's going to open up DRS. And will it be pole? It is pole. There we go, a 52.0. 7/10 ahead of the rest of the field. And from what I can see, I don't think anyone can improve. TJ is out on circuit. Dan Rietveld coming into the pits. 80 out on circuit. J-Boy in the pits. Andrew Starr going slowly out on track. The remaining Aston Martin in this session. And Shane on an in-lap, having set that 152.0 as provisional pole. Does anybody have what it takes to take that out? Also don't know what these track conditions are. Is the track getting better as the session goes on? Then it might be the advantage to the man who crosses the line last. We ride with AD as he goes over this start-finish line. Car approaching 335 kilometers an hour. (1:53.2), currently his best effort. 5 drivers remain in the session with just over 2 minutes remaining. So if you're in the pits, you better get out the pits right now. You're running out of time. AD going slowly, is he? Is this an in-lap? Then Rietveld on an outlap, J-Boy on an outlap. So still a chance for that to change up at the front, but the 2 guys currently on outlaps, they're going to have to find a lot of time. Shane's happy with that. Retires from the session, 1:52.0. He is 7/10 clear. Pantry Star currently second. We won't be seeing an improvement from him. He remains in the pits. J-Boy out on track. AD out on track. And Dan Rietveld out on track. Those are the men that can still possibly improve. But the time differences in this top 5, very big time differences. So even if you want to make up one position, like for example Dan Rietveld there, if he wants to make up one position, he's going to have to find 1.8 seconds. Closest we got there is between 3rd and 4th, just a 10th of a second. There is J-Boy, start his final fast lap of the night. And Dan Rietveld as well, going over the start-finish line to start his final lap of the night. So I think those are the 2 to keep an eye on. The only 2 that can improve. AD just enters the pits. He's done for the night as far as qualifying goes. Just 10 seconds remaining, so just these 2 cars. J-Boy slightly ahead on circuit. Dan Rietveld 1 or 2 corners behind. AlphaTauri is currently 3rd and 7th. I'm sure they'd love that in real life. Obviously this AlphaTauri is going to be a very different car next year. And if rumours are to be believed, it's going to be an RB14, which is this year's Red Bull. So we may see a much more competitive car next year, and it won't be known as AlphaTauri. It's also getting its 2nd rebrand in, 4 years? Go on board with J-Boy as he enters the final and fastest part of the circuit. He just taps the wall there. That's going to affect his momentum in a big way. But he's going to open up DRS, give it everything he's got down the straight, doing 340 kilometers an hour. It's 3rd place, 1:53. And then we go to Dan Rietveld. And it cuts off right there. He went 2nd. Very nicely done. I want to see how close he got. And there are your official qualifying results. Pole position goes to Shane in the Red Bull, 1:52.0. Then got close in the end. Dan Rietveld in 2nd for Alfa Romeo, 1:52.3. Pantry Star for Aston Martin, 1:52.7. Then we have J-Boy 4th, 85th. Kevin 6th. Teacher 7th. Apmagozi in 8th. Nuclear Monkey 9th. And then no lap times, but this is the order they'll start in. Tunable 10th. That's cut out on me. We'll see soon enough. Still waiting to see how the game is going to arrange that grid. Large portion of the starting grid not setting lap times, so we'll find out shortly who's starting where. We're currently looking at the pit garages because the guys are doing their final touch-ups. Yeah, no, I do need to read faster. Took too much time on the top three. I was reading out the team names and then, yeah. Guys doing the final touch-ups to their setup. What tyre do you want to start on? How many pit stops do you intend on doing? Are you going to take a risk and underfuel? We are going to have a formation lap. For the guys who haven't practiced with a heavier fuel load, these 90-degree bends do tend to feel quite different with a heavier fuel tank. So if you've only done your practice on 1 lap pace, might want to be careful, especially on this first lap. Brake a little bit late and you could smash into a train of cars. And again there, thanks for the update. Even during the formation lap, I'm getting cricket updates. I'm sure they'll slow down shortly, but 79 for 1 after 8 overs. Australia going at a run rate of 10 and over. How ODI cricket has changed. There was a time a run a ball was a very good run rate. As you can see there on the top left of your screen, it's going to be a 13-lap race. It's a 25% race, so there will be the 1 mandatory pit stop. Just to go through that order that I missed in the standings, Tunable, he'll be starting from 10th. Dean will be starting from 11th, Khan 12th, Panda 13, Pampun 14, Staffy 15, Heno 16, and rounding up the grid, the second Red Bull. Drivers arriving at the start-finish line. I hope it's not the case, but I think we're going to get that terrible camera angle that we've had for maybe 4 or 5 rounds this season, where I'm looking at the back of the grid. I want to be looking at the front of the grid. But unfortunately, it looks like we're going to watch the cars drive away from us. Let's see if it changes at the last minute or if this is going to be our starting view. Got a DSQ for Staffy. I presume that's for parking. We wait for the red lights. There's a long pause. Hopefully no issues and we can get underway. Now, unfortunately, it seems like we are having some sort of an issue. Now a DSQ for a whole bunch of drivers. Well, the visuals on screen speak for themselves. I'm not sure what's happening. I'm looking at the back of a horse in what appears to be chase camera. So something wrong with the lobby. We'll obviously await further information. We're going to have a restart apparently. So that'll be a new lobby. The grid will have to be set according to what it was in qualifying. Now the race is getting going, but as you can see, people leaving. There will be a lobby restart. No need to leave the stream. I'm going to leave the stream active. So you can just stay with us, and we'll hopefully shortly be underway. Seems like the lobby problem may have been caused by a weird glitch. Apparently, Tunable had an off on his formation lap, and then things got weird from that point on. I do apologize for the stream tonight. It's very delayed. Almost a lap behind. Well, that's not good. Got an invite, but it's not working. There we go. And to anyone watching, I think you shouldn't ready up just yet. I think the custom grid needs to be set. So now even the cricket stream's going a bit wonky. That's the problem with modern entertainment. It all revolves around one thing: the internet. And if that's not working, you've got a bunch of useless equipment in your house. hopefully we will be underway shortly. Like I mentioned, that custom grid does need to be set, and that does take just a little bit of time. And I'll be back with you in just a minute. We are back. Just waiting to get things underway. Obviously, we'll be getting straight into the race. We've already had that qualifying session. Now we're just putting the cars back into the order that they need to be in. I'm not sure if we'll be running a formation lap again. Yeah, Steph, looking at that, it seems pretty easy. It would be an absolute shocker if they couldn't do that. A runner ball in modern day cricket is nothing too difficult. So we're back to Baku. 6-kilometer circuit, one of the longest circuits on the calendar. I believe it's the second longest circuit on the calendar, but the lap times don't suggest that, but it's got to do with your top speeds around here. Wonder if the formation lap caused the problem last time. They might just leave it off this time. But again, looking at the pit garage while guys sort out their stuff, do not forget to select your setup. I've seen many drivers do that when a lobby breaks the first time and you have a second go. You forget to load the setup. And when you reach turn 1, realize default setup isn't really what you want to be doing. Here we go, we're going straight into the race start. 5 red lights. And they're off. We are underway. Red Bull versus almost said Aston Martin, Alfa Romeo into turn 1, but Red Bull does come out on top. Doesn't seem like too much drama at turn 1. Everybody gets through quite nicely. Nice to see. Pantry Star in 3rd, J-Boy 4th. AD in 5th. Everyone holding station in the front. Most of the position changes happening at the back. Khan already up into the top 10. He gets past his teammate and enters the top 10. Akmagozi going backwards into P12. A lot happening at the back here. Now we see a Ferrari going sideways. We see a Ferrari going sideways. That is Ferrari 69. That is 80. And he's pretty much got to wait for this field to go by. And he'll be disappointed with that. But that, I'm not sure if that was what triggered it. Seems like, well, we have a DNF and we have a DSQ and we have a safety car on lap 1. Not sure if those incidents are related. Obviously a safety car on lap 1 is probably the most useless of safety cars. Can't just dive into the pits. Still want to do a few laps on that first set of tyres. We already have a penalty up on our screen, so let's just get confirmation of what that is. That is a 5-second penalty for the driver in 9th place. That's Khan. 5-second penalty would be for speeding in the pit lane. Keep in mind that that speed limit. Shane, the leader, into the pits. Seems like he's getting rid. Did he just get rid of a set of mediums? Let's just confirm. Let's get what tires. What's happening? Yes, Shane has gone onto the hard. So I wonder if that's to go right to the end. Obviously just 11 laps to the end, so it is possible, and considering if we get another safety car or two, you won't be driving those tyres at full speed, so you won't really be wearing them. Very possible to go to the end now. The only cars that made that choice were J-Boy and Shane. They're on a brand new set of hards. Second Red Bull also on a set of hards, but that's a lap old, so that's the tyre he started with. He still needs to do a pit stop. We've lost another car. We have a DNF for a Ferrari. That is Heno. He's out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. You know, it was a lot simpler when this race made its debut, because the first time it was ever held, it wasn't called the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and you didn't have to worry about your pronunciation. It was just called the European Grand Prix, which is kind of ironic because Azerbaijan is in Asia. Go to the front of the field and see what's happening over there, because at the front of the field, the top 5 drivers, they have not made a pit stop. They started on a set of mediums and they're still on a set of mediums. Those are the top 5 drivers. Nuclear Monkey first, Khan second, Panda third, Akmagozi fourth. So we've got the 2 Mercs in the top 4, and then Staffy in 5th, also not pitting. Shane goes past Staffy. Not sure what happened there, if he left the track, but that position has been returned. Just waiting for an Alfa Romeo at the back of the field, but he's going to catch this queue, I'm pretty sure, before Sector 3, and we should see the safety car coming in. At the restart, I think you want to keep your eyes on that Red Bull. Does have his teammate behind him as a bit of a buffer. Don't think he needs to worry about his teammate dive bombing him into turn 1. Just needs to concentrate on those 5 cars ahead of him, and they all need to do pit stops. So at the moment, seems like Shane has got this call right. Still 10 laps to go in this race. Anything can happen here in Baku. The walls are close, the speeds are fast, and all you need to do is hit the wrong curb at the wrong time and it's going to send you straight into a wall. Other thing is, with the short distances of the race and with a safety car here and there, you're never really going to pull away. Confirmation of the safety car coming in this lap. The whole field is now together. Safety car will peel into the pits, and then the Haas driver of Nuclear Monkey, he will effectively become the safety car. You can't go past him until the start finish line. There can't be any overtaking, and you just have to wait for the leader for when he decides it's time to go, and don't let him get the jump on you. Khan so far in second. He's had a fantastic race. One of the drivers who did have a quali ban and started right at the back of the field. Look at this restart. Nuclear Monkey leaving it right to the end, almost on the start finish line. And there he goes into the start finish line. Does he defend first place successfully? Yes, he does. Khan stays in second, Panda stays third, Akmagozi stays fourth, so no changes there at the front. Shane up into 5th place. His teammate was briefly in front of him, but he gets past. Four manufacturers in the top 5. Now Shane getting past the second of the Mercedes, that's Akmagozi. He's now up into the top 4 on a set of hards without having set a pit stop. Khan looking towards the inside, thinking about it, thinking better of it, because he probably looked in his mirrors and said, if I get this wrong, 2 cars are going to go into me. Ooh, and Khan getting it sideways in the castle section, just missing there. That was almost a broken rear suspension. Rear tyre just missing the wall, really close. But if you're putting it sideways through the castle section, it means you're giving it everything you got. Top 4 very close together, half a second. .2 seconds, sorry. Cover the top 4. Akmagozi still in 5th. He's now falling behind that train slightly. There's Dan Ritfeld chasing him down. And we have a double retirement. I wonder if that was contact. It was contact. We have a Haas. We have a Mercedes-Benz. Together in the wall. Virtual safety car. 12 runners remain in this race. Now, for everybody who did not pit under safety car, you're probably going to see all of those cars dive into the pits, and there we go. All those cars diving into the pits. Now it'll be interesting who goes for what tyre. Now that we've had a few extra laps, I suppose you could finish the race on a set of softs. How will that impact your leader, Shane? He's on a set of hards, so if you do have the superior grip with only a few laps to go. He could find it quite difficult. Panda and Pompun, those are your top drivers currently on softs. They're in 5th and 6th, and they'll be looking to get a jump on the 4 drivers ahead of them. All on slightly older tyres and all on harder compounds. Five drivers not able to complete this race. Khan, Nuclear Monkey, Heno, Tunable and Dean. Dean got a DSQ, so I'm not quite sure what that was all about. And we went from safety car to a few laps of racing to virtual safety car to full safety car. So this is a race I think you could have underfilled quite nicely. Shane leads the race. Mercedes-Benz at Magosi, 2nd place. Mercedes-Benz, the team that has just re-signed both their drivers till 2026. Lewis Hamilton getting a contract worth £100 million over 2 years. £50 million. That's well, that's quite the calculation to make in South African currency. Still under safety car on lap 6 of 13. So we are approaching halfway distance in this race. 12 cars remain from the 17 that started. May still get another lap under safety car. Still waiting for a few cars there at the back of the field. But we do have that very fast sector 3, so I think the field may catch up on this lap. No changes in the positions. We haven't had any more pit stops. Everyone went and did their pit stop on the first lap of the virtual safety car. So I don't think we should see any more pit stops in this race unless it's for damage. I think everyone should be going to the end. Magosi in second. His mediums have done 6 laps. Hopefully those tyres will still feel okay for him at the end of the race. One more lap of safety car. I think within the next couple of corners this queue will be together and we can get the race underway with what will be 5 laps remaining. So after all that, we get a 5-lapper. This would be a good result for Alfa Romeo, 3rd and 4th. They may still get up the field further. Alfa Romeo currently 4th in the Constructors' Championship on 80 points. 28 points behind Alpine in 3rd. Red Bull 2nd, and obviously your leaders, McLaren, McLaren lead the championship by 24 points. As for the rest of the Constructors' Championship, got Alfa Romeo 4th, Aston Martin 5th, AlphaTauri 6th, Williams 7th, Mercedes down in 8th, then, well, Ferrari down in 9th, and Haas down in 10th. Sure, this will be the final lap under safety car. We will be underway shortly. Is the safe? Do we have confirmation of the safety car coming in? I didn't see it on my screen. Safety car now pulling away from Shane, so I think that's what it is. Safety car will come in. We're going to get a restart. It's going to be Red Bull versus Mercedes into turn 1. How many times have we seen Red Bull versus Mercedes at the restart? It's all about when Shane decides to go. And he does get the jump there. He does get the jump on the Mercedes-Benz. In fact, the Mercedes-Benz loses out a few positions. Down into 5th. Alfa Romeo 2nd and 3rd. Got an Alpine 4th. Atmagosi down to 5th. Pampunin 6th. Remember, he had a quali ban, so he started pretty far back, trying to minimize the damage now. And he goes up the inside, little bit of contact with the Mercedes. And I wanted to say little bit of contact with the Mercedes, but that did send the Mercedes into the wall. And we have another retirement, we have a yellow flag, hopefully that's all it is, and no more safety cars. Don't think we'll see more in a 25%. Retirements from this race, both Mercedes. You're only Haas, 1 Ferrari, 1 McLaren, and 1 Alpine. Atmagosi, Khan, Nuclear Monkey, Heno, Tunable, and Dean, your retirements. Your top 5, Shane, Dan Redfeld, Kev, Panda, and Pampun. Pampun up into the top 5. Still looking to improve. As far as the Drivers' Championship goes, Pampun in 2nd place. But it's by quite some margin. $35 points, is that the difference? I think the difference between 1st and 2nd, 35 points. Then Pantry Star in 3rd, not too far behind. Just a further 10 points adrift of 2nd. So those are your 2 championship contenders. That is Pampun and Pantry Star, 2nd and 3rd. But the leader of the race is also your championship leader. Next week's format will be a repeat of tonight's format. So we'll have a short quali and then the final 2 rounds of Season 7. Panda in the Alpine now up into 2nd place. Kev down to 3rd. Pampun up to 4th. He's gotten past Dan Redfeld. Got another retirement. We got another retirement. Let's see if we can see what that was. We'll ride on board with Staffy because he's going to go past that incident. Does the camera angle let us see? No, it doesn't. The car's disappeared off the circuit. But that was MJ. He's had an incident, and just as I say that, now another one. That is an Alfa Romeo, and Kev is out of this race. So everyone who finishes the race, points on offer. Just got to keep the car in a straight line for the next 4 laps. Fastest lap of the race goes to Shane, ever so briefly. Panda goes over the line just behind him and betters that lap. Fastest lap of the race goes to Panda, currently in second place, chasing down the Red Bull. Gap just over 1 second. Have we even seen DRS in this race? I don't think we've seen it yet. The Alpine's running 5th and 6th. The Aston Martin's running 7th and 8th. And that is never a good sign when you see a Ferrari just standing in the pit lane and everyone's standing around looking at it going, what are we supposed to do now? Gap at the front is coming down. It's now 7/10 of a second, so if we should get DRS, and if he stays within that 1 second mark, it's going to be very difficult to defend. Jpr in sector 3, the longest straight you'll ever see. And if you've got the benefit of DRS and a little bit of battery, there's nothing the man in front can do. That gap again just crucially under a second, 9/10. Pumping up into 3rd. This will be a good result for him, considering where he started. And remember, the order you see on the left of your screen will be the order that these guys start in Zandvoort. So Pampuna's done half the job. First race was all about coming through the field and getting a decent result. And then for the second race tonight, he's going to have a much better starting position. I think we'll see more of him in the second race. I think he'll be able to be a little bit more competitive at the front. But for the moment, the race has not been decided. Just 2 laps to go. And the Alpine all over the back of the Red Bull. Gap just half a second. Bear in mind the tyre difference between these two. Panda on a set of softs, just 6 laps old. Shane on a set of hards, 9 laps old. He did that pit stop under the first safety car, and I think that, well, that was lap 1. But Panda giving it everything all over the back of that Red Bull. He might just overheat those softs and then everything changes. But for the time being, doing a great job, a 1/10 of a second behind. And surely now we're going to see it down the main straight. Doesn't have much battery left, but he's not going to need it. He's got DRS and he's got the slipstream. And the combination of the two means he's going to be in front long before turn 1 arrives. Almost gets it out of shape on the exit. Car goes sideways, but he catches it really nicely, but that's going to allow the Red Bull to come right back at him. And Pampun in 3rd place. He'll be thinking, make contact, make contact. He's a further 3 seconds down the road from this leading pack. Leading duo, I should say. AD, fastest lap of the race, a 1:45.0. Seems like he's had a real mixed bag of a race. But all he needs to do is keep that car pointing in the right direction. He's going to pick up some points and start P9. Unless he can catch that car in front of him, that's Staffy. So still a bit of a race on between these two for 8th place. And Staffy decides against that battle. Lets the Ferrari through. Either that or he just ran wide. Shane now over the start-finish line for the final time. Start the final lap, lap 13 of 13. We finally got you. Feels like a very long 25% race. Alpine has not given up on this just yet. 0.4 of a second. Not a lot of battery left. As far as the leader goes. But second place in exactly the same boat. So almost no battery left for both cars here in front. Gonna have to rely on DRS and slipstream, and it's going to be really difficult to defend down that main straight if the Alpine manages to stay this close behind. Really needs to extend that gap as much as possible if he intends on finishing in first. We've had a lot of retirements, but one impressive thing to see in this race is we have no penalties on our screens. Top three remain the same, Shane, Panda and Pampun. But that challenge from Panda has calmed down somewhat. Gap now just over a second. Shane will be feeling a little bit more comfortable about that. Is there anything Pampun can do, or is he too far behind? I think he's going to be a little bit too far behind. And there we go. First race of the night is done. Shane goes over the line. He's your winner here in Azerbaijan. Panda goes second. Pampun third. Now we wait for Dan Rietveld. This isn't over yet. And J-Boy on the main straight with DRS goes just ahead. J-Boy fourth. Dan Rietveld fifth. Now we wait for Pantry Star. He goes over the line. Is he going to be beaten too? Teacher gets him right at the end. So both Alpha Tauris making a position on that final lap over the straight. AD now bringing that Ferrari home after quite a battering race. But I'm sure he'll have a better race in Zandvoort. Staffy bringing a limping Aston Martin over the line, no front wing. Deciding the car needed a redesign. Wings were causing too much drag. And, well, can't really call it driver of the day because we're going to have another race. So, driver of the race, Pampun. And there is your podium, and, well, that Red Bull driver lost his balance. Very nicely done. Good win. Safety cars were involved. You had to think quick, get the strategy right. So there are your results. Shane finishes first, Panda second, then we have Pampun in third, J-Boy fourth, Dan Rietveld fifth, Teacher in sixth, Pantry Star seventh, 88th, Staffy ninth. Then not finishing the race, we have Kev, MJ, Apmagozi, Conboy, Nuclear Monkey, Heno, Tunable, and then Fergie, who on my screens was showing as a DSQ, but now showing as a DNF. No need to leave the stream. We will be going straight into the next race. There will be a bit of a pause, as the grid will have to be set up. Remember, these finishing positions will set your grid for the Dutch GP. And we're back just like that. Two for one tonight. Gonna go again. This time at Zandvoort. Very different circuit. Guys are gonna have to adapt quickly. See a 14 turn circuit. Lots of elevation change, and obviously that final banked corner. One of my favorite corners in F1 at the moment. .2 kilometer circuit. Most victories for an individual driver here, obviously Jim Clark, and to a constructor, Ferrari. Ferrari getting 8 previous victories at Zandvoort. There we go. 5 red lights, and we're underway. There we go. Remember, those starting positions are the finishing positions from the last race. And hopefully we don't see any drama in turn 1. Looks like everybody got through there pretty well. Shane, your leader, Pampun, was second, but now he's spending some time off the track, and that's exactly where you don't want to spend time off the track on turn 1. Just got swamped by a bunch of cars, and he's down briefly from second. Now down to 9th. Virtual safety car has been called. Hopefully it will stay a virtual safety car. Doesn't look like anybody's retired. We wait now for this virtual safety car to be lifted so we can get underway. Just neutralizing this race really early on. A few more laps than we had in the last race. Last race 13, this time around 18 laps. No one choosing to pit. And as I say that, an Alfa Romeo does dive into the pits, and he's followed by a McLaren. I wonder if that's strategy or if that's damage. Virtual safety car going on for quite some time. Just Apmagozi, the only car really adrift. 4 drivers chose to go into the pits. Dan Rietveld, Pampun, Conboy, MJ, and now Apmagozi has gone into the pits, so 5 cars went into the pits. In the last race we had no penalties, and in this race, oh wow. Well, we have drive-thrus for Nuclear Monkey, Staffy, Heno, and Apmagozi has a 5-second penalty. Now for Nuclear Monkey, Staffy and Heno, those 3 drivers all have drive-through penalties. They need to remember that they cannot serve those drive-through penalties under any safety car. So it needs to be done on a lap at racing speed. Shane leads at the restart, and he's got a big lead right at the start, 1.9 seconds. Panda trying to hold on. He's in second. Let's bring up the tyre situation so we can have a clearer idea of what's happening. First and second both on a set of softs. Then third down to 5th on a set of mediums. And then pretty much your middle order, 6th down to 9th, all on a set of softs. So a good mix in the top 10. 6 drivers on softs, 4 on mediums. And we were briefly riding there with Panda. He is 1.9 seconds adrift of your leader. And not 100% sure with my math skills here, and I haven't added up what happened in the last round, but pretty sure if Shane has a double tonight, he might take it. The championship, I mean. Briefly sets the fastest lap. It's immediately beaten by Panda. We saw that in the last round as well. J-Boy in third place for AlphaTauri. Kevin fourth. He was one of the drivers to retire late on in the race. Pantry Star fifth. The leading Aston Martin. Dean also DNF'd pretty early on in that race. He's in sixth place. First of the two Ferraris. That's AD. And we're back under virtual safety car. Teacher 8th. Tunable 9th. Pampun in 10th. Then outside the top 10 we have Dan Redfeld, Nuclear Monkey, Conboy, Heno, MJ, Staffy and Apmagozi. But as of this time, no DNFs. We're obviously now just waiting for this virtual safety car to clear itself so we can get back up to racing speed. See, the virtual safety car basically neutralizes all the gaps between the cars. So it's like putting the race on hold temporarily, and there we go, virtual safety car has been lifted and we can get back underway. Panda seems to have got quite an advantage under that safety car. The gap was 1.8 seconds when it started. Now it's just 1 second. Panda in third. He's 3 seconds adrift. Kev still fourth. Pantry fifth. Dean in sixth. AD, the leading Ferrari, he's up in seventh. Looking to make up positions. Looking to get some points out of the race tonight. Obviously had a real up and down Baku. Did score points in the end, but he would have been disappointed with the beginning of the race. Always so difficult when you start off on the wrong foot and you play catch up for the rest of the race. Now, because of a pit stop by your leader, it means AD will move up into 6th place. That is Shane exiting the pits. He was the leader, he's now down in 7th place. Promoted to the lead is Alpine Panda. He leads from J-Boy in 2nd place. That gap just 0.6 of a second, so not much in it. Kev promoted up into 3rd. Dean 485. Currently outside the points. 11th place Teacher, Nuclear Monkey 12, Conboy 13, Heno 14. Then we have MJ, Staffy and Apmagozi. We're not at half distance yet, still so much can happen. Safety car could still come out at the right moment and somebody could get a free pit stop and land up at the front of the field. So lots can happen. And this is Zandvoort. Very easy to go off track and pick up damage. But so far, guys doing a fantastic job tonight. When it comes to the penalties, we saw no penalties in Baku for track infringements. And we haven't seen any tonight. We've just got the ones that involved pit lane incidents. 2 retirements, that's Teacher and Pampun. Pampun was your main challenger in the championship in second place. He's dropped out of the race. He'll be disappointed with that. Your leader is an Alpine from an AlphaTauri. Kev's still in third, but he has fallen adrift from the two ahead of him. Dean in fourth, and he's coming under pressure from a Ferrari, and the Ferrari is coming under pressure himself from an Aston Martin. So we've got a bit of a train here, 4, 5 and 6, battling for position. At the moment the Alpine does seem to just have a little bit of an advantage, because the Ferrari and the Aston Martin now started to engage in a bit of a battle. And then that will allow the leader of that pack to just run down the road. As you can see now, he's opened up that gap quite nicely. Went from being under pressure to breathing a sigh of relief, but we're going back to the battle for the lead, because these cars are side by side. J-Boy's gonna, yes he is, there we go, J-Boy takes the lead, Panda second. Let's just bring up the tyre situation once again. J-Boy is on a set of mediums, Panda on a set of softs. I wonder if those softs are starting to fall off. And that just allowed J-Boy to go through easily. Those mediums obviously going to last longer into the race. Kev still holding on to third. He's had a pretty lonely race. No one taking up his mirrors. Leading Aston Martin in 5th place, Pantry. Leading Ferrari in 6th place, 80. Shane down in 7th place. Dan Ridfeld, second of the two Alfa Romeos, 8th place. Nuclear Monkey nicely in the points. The solitary horse tonight. Still thought his teammate may make it for the second round. Unfortunately not. And Heno also making up the top 10. So 2 cars in the points for Ferrari. Good evening, welcome. Thanks for joining the stream. Getting some support for Pantry Star. If you're listening to this, Pantry Star, no pressure at all, no pressure at all. But yes, you've got some fans in the comment section calling you for the win. So let's go to the front and see what's happening at the front. And there is no battle for the lead. It looks pretty easy for the time being. J-Boy leads. Pantry second, but that gap's 6.3 seconds. 6.7 seconds. I wonder if that Alfa Romeo has damage, because if you look at that gap, he's just dropping tenths. 7.4, 7.5. So wonder if there's some damage on that Aston Martin, or if he's just getting some gravel off the tyres. But now pit stops promote AD up into second place. But surely he can't go much longer on those softs. He's going to have to pit in the next lap or two. J-Boy emerges from the pits in third place. Will he be able to hold on to it? There's an Alpine behind him. Yes, he does. Pretty comfortably, actually. So J-Boy in third place. He's in a very strong position in this race, because he's already made that pit stop. I think this is your net first and second place. Currently third and fourth, J-Boy and Panda chasing each other. 0.2 of a second the gap there, nothing in it. And then your gap for the lead, also nothing in it. But both these cars are going to have to come in and do their mandatory stop. AD on a set of softs, Pantry Star on a set of mediums. Pantry should have the better tyre between the two at the moment. But I wonder if we're going to see that Ferrari peel into the pits, and yes we do. AD comes into the pits from second place and he was challenging for the lead. Pantry leads, but he's done 11 laps on those mediums. Oh, thanks there for the explanation. I did see the Aston Martin's times just dropping. And yeah, that would explain it. A disconnect. MJ picking up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Those mistakes will creep in because obviously we've had the 2 races tonight, and they have different speed limits in the pit lane. So if you were used to slowing down to 80 in Baku, it's not enough here, you need to slow down to 60. And I think a lot of drivers just getting it wrong there. Dan Rietveld, first man of the night, to pick up a corner cutting penalty. 3 seconds goes to Dan Rietveld. So penalties is MJ and Khan on 5 apiece, and then Dan Rietveld with that 3-second penalty. J-Boy leads quite comfortably, 2.2 seconds. Panda in second. He's not as comfortable. He will see that Aston Martin getting bigger in his mirrors. Aston Martin's not going to have it easy either. Alfa Romeo not giving up on the podium. He's right there, just half a second between the two. May actually see a change of position here shortly. Going to have the benefit of DRS. He's really close behind. Surely he should be ahead before turn 1, and he is ahead. Into the braking point ahead. Just don't run wide and give the position back. He doesn't. He gets it slowed down in time. And Kev up into third place. Shane in 5th place, winner of the first race tonight. Second of the 2 Alpines, down in 6th place. That is Dean. First of the 2 Ferraris in 7th. I think AD will be much happier with this race than he was with the last. Khan in 8th, but remember, if he doesn't pit again, those 5 seconds will be added on at the end of the race. Just 4 laps to go. Where are the battles on track? The closest battle we can see, that is a battle for 4th place. That is between Shane and Aston Martin of Pantry Star. 0.3 of a second is the gap. Just looking up and down the field, it's really the only battle on the circuit right now. Shane goes up the inside. Pantry thought about coming back at him, but it was never going to be a good decision. And Shane goes through up into 4th place. There's still 3 laps to go. Can he catch up to the podium? He's got 1.6 seconds adrift from the podium position. That is Kev in the Alfa Romeo. At the front, there's no change. J-Boy holding on to that gap, 2.6 seconds, healthy gap. Panda second, doing everything he can. Hoping for a mistake at the front. Now again, just to bring up those tyres, J-Boy on a set of softs, Panda on a set of mediums. So if those softs do begin to drop off in any way, man in second should have an advantage, but I don't know if he's going to be able to utilize that advantage because the gap's already up to 3 seconds. Kev's done a fantastic job of holding on to that position for most of the race, but now coming under pressure. He's going to see a Red Bull in his mirrors very soon. Don't want to spend all my time focusing on this battle, but there really are no other battles on track. The only battle on track is the battle for 3rd place. And I think the Red Bull easily done. So difficult to defend. Shane does make his way up into the top 3. Another battle on track. It's Pantry Star, Dean, and Dean goes through. And he's up into 5th place. Nuclear Monkey doing well to hold on to that final points paying position. He's got a gap over 11th place of 7.7 seconds. Plus MJ also has that penalty, so that is effectively a 12-second gap. So Nuclear Monkey should be able to hold on to that championship point. Just needs to keep the car pointing in the right direction. Good job by Red Bull to come back into this race, but he is 3.8 seconds adrift from Panda, so I don't know if he's going to be able to make any further improvements in this race. Kevin 4th, and it seems to be a safe 4th. Pantry Star. Is this Pantry Star or is he disconnected? I'm not sure. I don't see the car ghosting, but making a very late pit stop on the final lap of the race, so pretty strange. Kev now 1.1 seconds adrift from the podium. Don't think he's going to have enough time to come back. And really no battle for the lead. Let's ride with your leader. He's done a fantastic job all race. He's kept that gap. Pretty much maintained that gap at 2.5 seconds throughout, and he's going to go over the line now, and he's going to take victory at Zandvoort. Very nicely done. He's followed by Panda, and the next car over the line will be Shane in a Red Bull, and then Kev weaving over the line. I think he enjoyed that. Alfa Romeo P4, Alpine P5. 80 now just managing that final corner. He's going to come over the line in 6th place. Nice handful of points for him. Car off Pantry Star does come over the line in 7th place. Followed by Khan in 8th. Dan Ridfeld 9. And now we just wait for Nuclear Monkey to come through and pick up the final point. And very nicely done by Haas. That is the final points position. I wonder now if MJ has just run out of fuel. I think he may have run out of fuel, going very slowly over the line. Loses a position to the Williams of Tunable. Tunable finishes 11th. MJ 12th. And now we ride with Heno. Also going very slowly. I'm not sure if this is a fuel thing or if he's just taking a Sunday drive. Well, that is the end of round 8. We had round 7 and round 8 all in one night. It's going to be interesting to see what's left of the championship once all of this is counted. Obviously next week will be the same format. We'll be having round 9 and 10, finishing off our season 7. Just to go through the final results for round 8, J-Boy takes the race. Very nicely done. Very nicely done. Kept that gap open throughout. Then we've got Panda in 2nd, Shane 3rd, Kevin 4th, Dean 5th, 86th, Pantry Star 7th, Conboy in 8th, Dan Redfeld 9th, Nuclear Monkey getting that final point. Then just outside the points we've got Khan, Staffy, Nuclear Monkey, MJ, Tunable, Apmagosi and Heno. I wanted to say thank you to everyone who joined me for the race, and everyone who's going to listen to this later, because there are a lot more views later on than there are live. So thank you to everyone who joined. We'll be back next week for the final time in round 7. And we'll see you then. Cheers.